from all around your lawn. I'm here to tell you how football is strong. We're the best. Bounce the ball.
Welcome back, and time now to turn our attention to the under-18s. Here's Dale.
Thanks, Jace. Last round, Inverleigh went out to Winchelsea and they kicked 25-10, 160 to defeat Winchelsea 2-4-16. McLean got 12, and I think he's kicked about 30 or 40, nearly 30-something goals in the last 3 weeks. B Cation's 5, Dunstan 3 and Lake Carroll 2. Better players there, obviously McLean, B Cation, Dunstan and Tarbert. For Winchelsea, Harrison and Holmes were their goal kickers. They're better players there. McLaren, Kelly, Verhoff and Harrison. Bannockburn took on East Geelong on the weekend. Bannockburn kicked 31-19, 205 to East Geelong 27-19. Goal kickers there, Howling, Dillon, Robinson, Warple, Kenyon and Stone Huston, all with 3. And the better players there, Bath, Dillon, Harrop and Howling. For East Geelong, Harrison got 2. Their better players, Davey, Forum, Cameron and Harrison. North Geelong, they finished on top of the ladder. They kicked 22-23, 155 to defeat Thompson, who didn't score. Goal kickers out there. Joe's got 9, Podner 4, Gasper 3, Hope and also War with 2. Better players there. Paramanov, who played a couple of senior games. Gaspar, Martinu and Eels. And for Thompson, their better players, Souters, Brox, Gardner, Brown and Greaves. Final game was Werribee Central's taking on the Belmont Mines, and they meet again on Sunday. Werribee Central's kicked 17-17, 119 to defeat Belmont 6-4-40. Goal kickers for Werribee, Blade with 4, Keisha, Jacoby and Anderson 3. Better players there, Hicks, Kales, Anderson and Kitson. And for the Belmont Lions, Patterson with 4, Fry and Harvey. Their best players were Patterson, Thorpe, Harvey and Cleal, which will move us onto the ladder, which is up there very quickly, which will see Inverleigh on top on 60, North Geelong on top. Dick will just about pass out of the ears up in Sydney this morning, fall off the bridge. Inverleigh on 64, and as I said, yeah, you'd feel it down here in Geelong, don't worry about that, mate. Bannockburn on 60, Werribee on 56, the Belmont Lions, the final team that made up the top 5 on 36, Thompson just outside on 32, Corio on 16, Winch and East Geelong on 12. And obviously we turn our attention to this afternoon or this morning. The qualifying final was between Bannockburn and Inverleigh, which is on very shortly. The elimination final tomorrow, we'll see, as I said, the Werribee Central side take on Belmont Lions, and the Luxury North Geelong will have a week's rest, not that they really need it. And I think it's next week, the GDFL Ray Etheridge Medal, next Wednesday night at East Geelong, 7:10 commencing. Anyone that wants to go out and have a look, be a night's entertainment.
And Dale, how are you going to go this morning against the Hawks?
Well, I'll tell you what, we've played some good games over the last 2 or 3 years. There hasn't been a big margin in any game. So if we're in front when it finishes, mate, I'll be as happy as anybody.
Because it seems to be every year I rock up at about midday, and you walk into the box and I go, "How'd you go?" And you seem to be able to roll on in the finals.
We've got ourselves in a better position this year. We're actually finishing third. Usually we get in the 5th position or 4th.
Don't say that too loud.
Yeah, there's no comfort zone there. But look, it's good to be up there amongst the top 4 or 5 again, and it's a good credit to both the Bannockburn kids and everyone else that's going to take part this afternoon.
But it's going to be North Geelong to beat, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Look, Inverleigh beat them 2 or 3 weeks ago, so it's proven that they can be beaten. Just got to beat them on the right day and put them in the back foot if we can, if that's possible.
Well, good luck for Dale this morning. While we're talking about under-18s, Neville, there's a bit of a proposal going around at the moment for a restructure of the under-18 competition across the board in Geelong.
Yes, there is, Jason. We've met on 2 or 3 occasions with Football Geelong on trying to revamp and making the competition fairer and more competitive, because we've got some clubs that are really good that miss out on games, and some of our clubs down at the bottom have been forfeiting, and that's not good for football anyway. So yes, we have met, and it'll possibly be the draft paper is under 18.5 right across the board, called the Colts. And there's a few limitations there. The clubs have got 2 sides with numbers. You have to have 55 to have 2 sides, and if you've only got 35, you can't have a second side. You are then encouraged to join up with another club that might be struggling for numbers, and they would play as a joint name based. Yes, it's quite exciting, but there's a lot of things to be done yet before it comes to fruition.
Those balance of those second players, they can be called up to their first side, and is that how it will work, or once they've gone back to that second side, do they have to stay with that group?
We haven't got down to those mechanics yet, Dale, but I would think there have to be some limitations on who can go up and who can come down to make for qualifying for finals. I would think that maybe the VCFL 6 up and 1 down may need to be reviewed, and it may have to be harder for players to drop back down, because, as I said, it could be that they could stack a second side just to get into the finals, and that'd be unfair.
Yeah, no, so I was more going to the impression if you say like a Nation Grove or even South Barwon, I think they got to add 5 sides, I think, this year. But they've got numbers there. Would they just have a pick the basic 26 in their first squad and then the balance go back to that second squad? But if they got 3 or 4 injuries, can they draw up from that? But maybe not go back the other way, but definitely draw up.
I think they could.
Yep.
But they would. The first side would have probably maybe 28, 30 players to pick from. Then if they get injuries, well, then they'd probably have to call on their seconds. But the extra players, we see that as a benefit. They would move on to other clubs to play football.
So can teams have more than 2 sides? Because as Dale said, then South Barwon may have 80 players.
No,
Do
we'll
they have
probably
2 or 3?
at this stage we'll limit it to 2.
Okay, yeah.
As maximum of 2.
Yep.
But we would like to see every club in the Geelong region. The idea of is every club in Geelong region to have an under 18.
Because there's enough footballers out there, isn't there? It's just about spreading the load, I suppose.
They've done some numbers. There's about 188 kids would still play football next year in the region.
If it was 8.5.
If it's under 8.5. So it's a matter of keeping kids or people playing football.
Yeah.
Not kids at 8.5. You're not a kid. You're a
Well,
man.
that's been a benefit for us out there in the last couple of years. We got a couple of kids that have played in our age group, and they weren't definitely ready for senior footy, but it allowed them to play another year of junior footy. Now, whether they go up the next year and then progress to reserves and seniors, but they just had a bit more of a feel for the footy. So I reckon it's a great idea.
Especially some of the tall blokes too, Dale, who are late developers and who take an extra year or 2. If they're not ready to go into senior football at 18, they play one more season. They have the same thing in the TAC Cup with under 19 players too, being able to play in the for the same reason.
I reckon it's a great idea. I reckon it's been really good for our league, and as I said, I think it'll probably help out with some of the other leagues that may struggle as well.
So you'd have no problem in beating South Barwon on a Saturday morning.
Oh, gee, I'll tell you what, that could be a problem. But look, as I said, it's not about winning. It's about teaching the kids the right way to play football. And if you go out and win games by 20 goals every week, you're not really teaching the best way to play it. It's all right, it's easy for them, but they get no real feel for, a hard physical clash. But if you play at North Geelong or an Inverleigh this year, and a Werribee, Corio last year were an exception too, because they had a really good season. They lost their top end kids this year, but most of them played senior footy, so they were ready for it. So that's a good idea.
And also, just while we're talking juniors, under 14 and under 16 semi-finals at Winter Reserve today. About 9 finals, the floor manager tells me. And good luck to Anarchy, North Geelong, the Belmont Lions, Corio and Winchelsea. We've all got teams from the Geelong District Footy League playing in those junior finals this morning and this afternoon as well at the resort. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the finals, the qualifying final this afternoon, the elimination final tomorrow afternoon. We'll take a break back after this.
Let's get into it all until the final silence.